What's up, gang? We're making some Phonk house today. We're gearing up for the release of the new sample pack, Night Phonk, coming out at the end of this month. Specifically, we're making Phonk house in this one. We'll be doing some other styles of Phonk later on. I wanted to take you guys through some of the mainstays of what makes a Phonk tune, some of the characteristics and some of the sounds, and we'll break down this track. So when it comes to Phonk, there's pretty much the one mainstay element of every Phonk tune, and that's the cowbell. And it sounds like this. So this comes from the 808 cowbell, like the TR 808 cowbell. So basically what we do is we take this drum sound and turn it into an instrument. And that's generally the idea behind most Phonk tunes. And the next thing is just an overblown master. And what I'm doing here is I'm adding a soft clipper and increasing the makeup gain on the soft clipper here right when the drop hits. So when the bass runs into that soft clipper, it distorts everything. That's what gives it that really loud and fuzzy and distorted sound. Most old school producers would just cringe at that, but that's the way it's made. So let's break down some of the elements here. Another element in Phonk tunes are these telephone vocals. Usually they're like hip-hop or rap vocals, and they're usually just repeated over and over again throughout the track.
It's automatic, you ain't even...
I've got this telephone filter from Pro Q3, which sort of takes the vocal from sounding like this.
It's automatic.
To this.
It's automatic, you...
And it kind of gives it that distorted feeling too with those resonances there. If you don't have Pro Q3, don't worry. You can just copy these settings here. Just give it a big high pass and a low pass and give it some resonant peaks in there. Ableton has an EQ8 preset called Telephone Vocal if you want to use EQ8 for this too. Works just the same. So basically what we have here in this intro, we just have this respace that's kind of high passed. And then we have our intro cowbell, which sounds like this. And I've got a lot of reverb on these too because Phonk really has that ethereal, spacey vibe to it. So you can notice I've got reverb on sends on both of these, on this one and this one. And then we have just a couple of percussion loops here. Some hat loops up here. Open hats. And then I've got a build-up drum loop. You can make this yourself if you wanted to. Like these ones I did make myself. This is from the heavyweight sample pack. Basically, all you need to do is just repeat snare drums, increase the occurrence of those snare drums, and pitch them up and filter them up, and it sounds like this. And then leading into the drop here, I've got these snares. These are cashmere snares here. And then I've got these two. I like using these. That's like a nice little precursor right before the drop. For the kick, I've got a drum bus and a glue compressor, really squashing these drums down. This is another thing that really helps your drums just punch through when everything's really loud. And you notice, too, we also have the respace in here as well. You can use an 808 if you want. 808s work fine. I just felt the respace sort of lent itself to more of the flavor that I was going for in this track. So the respace, all of it's sidechained as well. I've got Shaper Box 2 here. And I've got Shaper Box on the main synth bus as well. Down for some of the minor details here, I've got a couple of these guys here. You can use pretty much any sample you want. Just you want something that's sticky, and then add a lot of reverb to it so it sort of rings out past the drums too. And I've got a couple of vocal samples down here. And then I've got this ambience layer, which sounds like this. And adding stuff like this to your tracks really creates the depth, because if there's stuff that's really quiet and stuff that's really loud, that contrast is really what creates that sound space. It really makes it feel like, oh, there's stuff really far away and there's stuff really close. So that contrast really gives the track and the mix a lot of depth. Over here we have the turnaround, which we have a fill here. I take away the drums and the bass. It's a scratch fill there, and then I have those two snares again, these guys. And I have these two layers. These are just power chords. It's just the root and the fifth. And then I have this respace up here. This is with my Reese rack from the Odyssey drum and bass pack from Evo Sounds. I helped Frankie put that together. Yeah, it's just a really simple patch here in Serum. Just two saw waves with one of them pitched up, one semitone. Without the Reese rack here, it really gives it a lot of character. If you guys want to see what that is, it's just some erosion, some saturation, OTT, an EQ here, some amp, a vocoder, another OTT, and some saturation. Feel free to copy those settings if you want. And then over here, we have a melodic vocal loop that I found. Also, with that telephone vocal effect that we were talking about earlier. And you can hear that now when we go into the turnaround here. Phonk doesn't have a whole lot of complexity to it, which is great because it really limits the scope of what you're trying to put in there and all the stuff that you want to add. So it allows you to be a little bit more creative in that way. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, be sure to hit like and hit subscribe so you don't miss any videos, because next week we are going to be doing a video on how to design your own Phonk cowbells from scratch. We'll see you there.